Yeah. Okay, welcome to Valence Developer Diaries number 46. And today we're going to go over some new features in Nitro App Builder for getting data and reusing that data. Okay, so we already have an app, right, Sean? That's kind of just a,
Yeah. So we've got this app. If you want to just launch it, yeah, let's just so nothing out of the ordinary here. We have a grid on the left and a map on the right, and both of those are just auto loading data. Maybe if we look at the structure, we'll see that they both come from the same data source. So you'll see customers and customers.
yeah,
So
1155, 1155.
the first demonstration we want to do is we want to show you a way how to, because obviously right now, well, it's not obvious, but that customer list is making a call to get data, and then that customer map is making a call to get data. So yeah, this will be good. So we'll see when Johnny reloads the app, we're going to see two calls are made to get data. Is that not sticking?
There we go.
There we go. So, it's getting called twice. I mean, not the end of the world. But we'll show you a way to make it so it only calls once, and then both widgets can make use of that data. So, first thing we want to do is let's just go to our list and our map and let's set them both to auto load false. First we just want to see that the app opens without getting any data. So our list map.
On the map.
Okay. So now
NP.
we successfully are showing no data is being loaded. Okay, so now we're going to go and we're going to make this so we will call the data, but we'll share it for both widgets. So if we go into the app, we're going to create a new app variable called we'll call it customer data. And I just want to point one thing out here. You guys see that send to backend. For those of you, that are familiar using App Builder, you'll be like, "Oh, what's this? I haven't seen this before." This is just for the next build. This is on there. This is not new functionality. We're just putting this functionality at this add app variable level too. And this is just to say, and in this case, we probably never want to send this data to the back end, right?
Yeah. And maybe
Uh,
it's good. Should we just talk about this real quick? Because it is
yeah,
kind of important.
I think so. So like you might create apps and you might create, 20, 30, 40, 50, I don't know, 100 app variables. And the default behavior anytime you create an app variable is it's always going to send that app variable to the back end so you can do a get app var against it. And that's fine. Problem is when you get 100 of them or you get these large apps, you're sending a lot of data that you don't even care about.
Or if you're
Um,
just using this feature and you have one app variable, you would be possibly sending all that data down.
yeah, because this customer data is going to store a lot of data. We're
Yeah.
gonna that's actually going to store the contents of that data source, the return of it. So in this case, the backend's never going to pull this customer data at variable. So I'm going to set it to never. So we've got and then that's always been there on the right. You can see if you wanted to change it, that send to backend, that's just a combo box. But yeah, definitely, a good best practice is to kind of when you're creating that variables, like really think like, wait, do I need this on the back end? Okay, let me just set this to never to not send. Okay, so we've got customer data. Good. Now what we want to do is we want to link each widget to the data property. So anytime customer data gets filled, I want this widget to make that its data. So the data property. So this is nothing new, this data property. This has been around, but
Yes.
to be honest, it really hasn't been there haven't been good use cases to use it because it was kind of like you were forced to construct your own JSON to put that in.
Right.
And we'll do the same thing to the map. Okay. So if we don't need to do it, but if we were to, save and run this app now, we would have the same result. We just have, two empty widgets.
Right.
So now we're going to go to behaviors. And on startup, I want to fire this. Let's fire an event called like load initial data. So we're just going to fire this load initial data event. Load init data. So I'm firing an event. I need to listen for it.
There it is.
Data. So what do I do here? Well, you'll see all the way at the bottom, there's this new get data action. So if he clicks it, this is showing us your data sources, all the data sources on your system. We want to search for customer. And I think it's that bottom one, used in DD
Yep.
demonstration. Yep. So there's our customer's data source. So right now it's going to on startup, it's going to fire that event, load in the data. Event listener goes, oh, load in the data. Let me get data. The main difference here is this kind of looks like the filter widget. We can filter data if we want, but you'll see a big difference when we go to the last step. That's all we care about is step
And here we're
four.
not, we don't want to filter. We just want to get everything.
Yeah, we're just getting everything. So
Well,
all data up the top there is all right. What do you want to do with all the data? Do you want to link it to an app variable? Well, yeah, I want to link it. I
yes.
want I want all data to go into the customer data app variable. Do I care about the total number of rows returned? No, but if I did, I could, set an app variable. I could link an app variable there. I could fire, a local
Local.
event when it happened. Or if I really just cared about the first row, so notice it's pulling the columns from that data source. I could link
Okay.
fields from that data source into app variables just for that first row if I cared, but I don't care on this. So let's just save this and we'll save again and save the app. And now we should get data. So we should have one call to that data source, and that data should make its way to both widgets. And there we go. Okay. So that's the first demonstration. So really, if maybe Johnny, maybe if we can show the developer tools, that might be interesting to see.
Thought it was already up, but okay. It's not sticking here for some reason.
Let's look at the customer data app variable, though. I mean, that might be
Yeah,
interesting to see.
it's out of the way. Well, this Zoom thing is in the way.
So there's our customer data app variable. It's taking the contents of what that data source returned. And because both widgets are listening to say, hey, anytime customer data changes, I will make that the data in me. That's what I will display. And
Right.
that's why it's pushing out like that. Okay. So let's demonstrate. Any questions on this?
Yeah, that's the first behavior, get data.
Because we're going to demonstrate something else too. So we're going to kind of take this apart and do something different.
So the next is not related to displaying the data. Hello.
I'm sorry, what was that?
What was
Yeah.
that?
So are we going to a totally different topic than the loading data? Because I have some questions regarding, the calls that the grid makes to the data source. So if we are sticking to the same topic, I can wait, or else I'll throw my question.
I mean, yeah, we're still dealing with data
Okay.
and linking to other widgets. But what's your question?
Okay. So so you have this grid which is loading, and so if it was regular auto load, it shows one call on the console. But what we have is we have a filters to the same grid, and that filters are pre-populated based on an initial program. Okay, like the plant of the logged in user, the buyer number of the logged in users. Okay, so whenever the app is open, those two app variables get preloaded by the program, and
Mhm.
this grid gets pre-filtered. Okay, so we have two filters, and the grid itself is an auto load. So we see the same grid giving three different calls. Okay, so and it takes too much time. So is how can we uh, change it to just one call, irrespective of how many filters are there?
Yeah.
Well,
I think this is probably a better topic for another, like maybe offline
okay.
here, but it sounds like it sounds like a bug if it's
Well, I
calling it.
think right away it should be auto load false if the back end is then dictating I'm going to apply
Yeah, that
filters.
we did, but then it only stopped one call out of the three. So we still have two calls, one for each filter.
I think it's something we'll have to look at
Yeah,
offline with this.
offline.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Let's kind of undo this now. So now let's go to behaviors and let's just remove that get data call. And let's say behaviors. And let's go to the link of that grid and let's
Move it.
remove that data of customer data. And just to be thorough, let's remove it from the map too, even though we're going to add it back, but just to kind of
Just be
show.
clean.
Yeah. So remove that. And let's save this and then let's make our grid auto load. So what we want to do now is I want the map to mimic anything the grid has. Okay.
Share the data.
So if I were to filter down the grid data, I want the map to automatically mimic it. I don't want it to have to make another call. Basically, I just want it to copy anything that the grid has. Okay. So let's run the app now, and we're just going to see the grid auto load. Um, and then we'll demonstrate, like we'll filter down, and the map should just be blank, right? Okay. So
Yep,
like
it's empty.
let's do a search on the grid. Okay. So I want that map to mimic that. So let's go back into App Builder, and we've already got our customer data property. So let's go to the grid and let's go to link. And instead of that data, what I want to do is, you see the get data down there?
Right here.
I want the data from the grid to push into customer data. Okay. So anytime the data in the grid changes, it's going to push that data into that customer data app variable. And then my map, if I link that, I want that data property to be from customer data. So now I'd expect anything the grid has for the map to mimic. So we've got everything. So now if we like type in San Francisco or something, so notice that it's immediately taking effect. Maybe CNX. Okay. So it's not having to call,
It's just sharing the data that's
just sharing that data.
within that other grid.
Okay. So I think that's everything we wanted to show. Any
Yeah,
questions?
that is it.
I have a quick question. Um, I've got an app where I've got maybe 8 widgets, all which have the same underlying data source, but each are filtered differently. So what this basically is it's a production planning tool. Each of the widgets shows information about individual production lines. Um, if you pull that data through that one time, what happens if you subsequently filter a widget? Is it going to just do the call to the back end and
Yes.
filter the database, or does it filter the data that you pulled in.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head the local filtering. Is that Johnny, does that sound familiar? Like
No.
do we have don't we have a way to say, look, when you're doing filtering, just do it locally?
Uh, search.
Oh, is it for the
It's just
search?
for the search. But if you're
Just for
putting user filters on a widget, it's going to call its underlying data source and get the
No,
data from it.
I'm thinking about in behaviors, and I filter in behaviors.
Oh, that's going to call the back end.
It's going to call the back end.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. That's a pity. That would have saved me 8 calls. Well, 7 calls.
Well, I mean, you could theoretically this approach we just showed.
Right.
You're pulling from a main data source, right?
Mhm.
Like let's say you're all production data or whatever.
Right.
Um, Suppose you had another app variable. Yeah, like here we go. So Johnny, maybe what if you create an app variable for like Chicago or something? Yeah, filtered data. There we go. Filtered data. So filtered data, we're going to want to put an expression on this. So we're going to pull, from customer data, we might filter down the results from customer data, and then that's what we're returning is just this subset. So then my
Yeah,
filtered
you would just
data, yeah,
loop through the results in whatever field you're looking specifically for,
yeah,
right?
you basically just want to return an array of objects. That customer data is just an array of records, an array of objects. You would just return whatever you wanted to. And that filtered data that Johnny created would be the app variable that he's linking to that particular widget. But you could have as many of these as you wanted, as many filtered data type app variables. Does that make sense?
Uh, I'm not sure that it's necessarily making sense to me, but I think I the kind of get the gist. But there's quite a bit to do to actually work around it.
Uh,
Is potentially
no.
what you're saying. Um, I'm not great at building these expressions, so um, that's more difficult for me. I'm not a Java
Yeah,
script
yeah.
kind of
Well,
guy.
that's where hopefully the help me should help.
Okay.
Um,
Right.
but you need to know what to ask. And basically what I want to ask here is for each, customer data is an array
Right.
and it has an array of objects and it has a property of C city. If C city is equal to Chicago, I want that to be returned into a new array of objects, or something like that. And
Okay.
that should do it.
Okay. But okay.
So my
Uh,
point is it's possible. Is the juice worth the squeeze, right? Yeah, I don't know. In your case, but if you're finding that, man, this takes long because I'm loading 8 things
well,
all at
it does
once.
it does take quite a while because it's pretty complex SQL. So
Well,
so
then
I
then
ended up doing that 8 times to populate the different widgets. So for me, it probably is worth the squeeze. Anything that
yeah,
improves the user experience is always worth it.
yeah. So did you
Um,
did you see that code? It
I'll
was
go
it was
back to it,
there
but
was there was not
to
much to it.
let's make sure it's working.
So look, yeah, filtered data. It has 16. There was a big subset of 207 from customer data, and we just extracted the ones from Chicago.
okay.
So
So
So if I do that, I'd need eight of those.
per widget, yeah, for each
yeah,
widget,
however
assuming
you're
each widget has
filtering.
One
unique
one
data.
per one per widget.
Hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Any
All right.
other questions?
Going once,
All right.
going
Well,
twice.
Yes, I do have one more question. What about if you're using anything like auto refresh, or if you want to use auto refresh?
We do not have currently a way for the get data behavior to automatically reload.
Okay.
but that's why you have it as an event, right? If that event, you
Right,
can
but he
fire
wants
that
to,
event.
it's on an interval, right? You'd have to,
Correct.
Oh, you want it on an interval.
right, it's auto
Yeah.
refresh, like so.
Oh, well,
Um,
you could easily just in the exec script do a script that runs every minute that fires an event that
right.
fires that
Okay.
same event.
Okay.
But we could also add that um, to the get data when I'm just going to this here.
Okay.
Yeah, auto load and then, but you need to define,
The interval.
yeah, like the interval value.
Mhm.
I'll put that in
Okay.
our Jira.
All right. Good deal.
All right. Well, thanks
All
everybody.
right. Thanks, everybody.